Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. A new translation by Gregory Hayes. This is a book summary. A dimly lit study, a single candle flickers, its wax pooling onto an aged wooden table. The faint sound of rain patters against the tent of a war camp. A man in Roman armor, his face lined with years of battle and burden, sits hunched over a worn leather journal. His hands, calloused from wielding both sword and scepter, move steadily, dipping a quill into ink and scratching words onto parchment. His eyes, shadowed by fatigue, are unwavering. This is Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the world, writing not about war, not about conquest, but about the battle within himself. Picture this. The year is 170 AD. The Roman Empire is at war. Barbarians press against its borders, their war cries echoing through the mountains. Cities burn. The streets of Rome, once teeming with life, now bear the stench of sickness as a relentless plague spreads like wildfire. Whispers of unrest fester in the Senate, where men in flowing togas debate over power, each vying for their own piece of the empire's future. And at the center of it all is one man. Not just any man, but an emperor, a warrior, a philosopher. A ruler unlike any before him. Marcus Aurelius. A battlefield covered in mist, Roman soldiers, tired but resolute, tightening their armor straps. In the grand halls of Rome, senators gesturing wildly, arguing over matters of state. And then, Marcus, alone, in his chamber, writing, as if the fate of his soul depended on it. But unlike the emperors before him, who sought power, pleasure, and conquest, Marcus was different. He wasn't just ruling an empire, he was trying to rule himself. And in the quiet hours of the night, amidst the chaos of war and the weight of responsibility, he wrote, not for the world, not for history, but for himself. A personal journal, never meant to be published. A collection of thoughts, reflections, and reminders on how to live a good life, how to endure, how to remain unshaken in the face of suffering, how to meet death with dignity. Today, we know it as Meditations, one of the most profound and timeless books on wisdom, resilience, and the art of living. Act 1, the philosopher king's secret. Unlike most rulers, Marcus didn't see himself as special. He wore no crown. He draped himself in a simple military cloak, eating the same rations as his soldiers, sleeping in the same harsh conditions. He never sought to be worshipped. He had no illusions of immortality. In fact, he believed quite the opposite. To him, life was short, fleeting, just a tiny drop in the vast ocean of time. No matter how great an emperor, how powerful a general, or how wealthy a man, everyone was bound by the same fate. Death. Soon you will be dead, and none of it will matter. He reminded himself of this constantly, not as a way to feel hopeless, but as a way to stay humble, to stay grounded. To remind himself that fame, wealth, power, all of it, was nothing but dust in the wind. The real battle was not on the field. It was inside the mind, and that was the battle Marcus was determined to win. Act 2, what really matters. Marcus saw life as a battle, but not against armies or enemies. The real war was within. A battle not fought with swords and shields, but with discipline, clarity, and reason. The true enemy, anger, greed, fear, desire. These were the forces that conquered men long before any external threat ever could. Each of these men is enslaved, not by the world, but by their own minds. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, but that's easier said than done, right? Marcus knew that too. That's why he trained every single day. He trained his mind the way a warrior trains his body. He stripped away illusions. He forced himself to see things as they truly were, not as he feared them to be. This was the essence of his philosophy, rooted in 3 core disciplines that would guide his every decision, his every action, his very soul. The 3 disciplines of a Stoic warrior: perception, see things as they truly are, not as fear or desire distorts them. Action, do what is right, no matter the cost. Marcus Aurelius refusing to punish an enemy unfairly, despite his advisors urging him to do so. Will, accept what you cannot change and embrace fate. Marcus kneeling by a funeral pyre, mourning the loss of a friend, then rising, determined to move forward. He reminded himself of these principles every day, knowing that the world was unpredictable, that loss was inevitable, that betrayal and hardship would come. But none of that mattered, because the only thing that truly mattered was this: who was he, in the face of it all? Act 3, Lessons. Marcus Aurelius wrote his meditations for himself. He never intended for the world to read it. And yet, 2,000 years later, his words still echo in our daily struggles, cutting through the noise of modern life with piercing clarity. Feeling overwhelmed by work? If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Angry at someone? Cut to a person in an argument? Fists clenched? The best revenge is not to be like that. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. It's not about controlling the world, it's about mastering yourself. That is the heart of meditations. Ancient Roman street, fading into a modern city street, showing that the human experience, across centuries, remains the same. He ruled the greatest empire on earth, but his greatest battle was within. His words, written in solitude, have outlived the empire itself. Marcus Aurelius may have been a Roman emperor, but his lessons belong to all of us.